YouTube, Facebook groups, all the things. Hi, you guys on Instagram. Hey, Facebook, what's up? Okay, so I am really fired up. Okay, so first of all, I can't wait to talk about today. But second of all, I want to tell you what this morning looked like. So one of the things that I'm obsessed with, and you guys can tell me if you have the same obsession, is how can I become a better person? Anybody else, like you're like a personal development junkie? Just say me in the comment section. Don't leave me hanging out here by myself. Holly, Esteban, Ariel. Okay, so I'm obsessed with becoming a better person. And through that process, I feel like I've consumed a lot of books, a lot of programs. I feel like I've been really coachable. I've hired a lot of coaches. In fact, I hired a guy for $25,000 to show me how to buy companies, literally how to buy businesses. And I came back from that meeting and my husband laughed at me because he said, he goes, how was the meeting? And I said, well, he told me I wasn't ready to buy a business. And I was like, and Ash goes, so what'd you do? And I said, well, it was so fascinating because I learned so much about how to work with a good COO to grow the business. So I share this with you, and I already had a COO at the time. I share this with you because what is the juice that you're pulling out of your life? Right? In other words, what are you making up about the things that are working and not working in your life? And what's the juice that you're extracting out of it? Okay, so here's what this morning looked like. I am also obsessed with becoming a better mother. I am really clear I've got a lot of space in that area. I'm really clear that I'm just really clear I could be a better mom. And so what I've been doing with our son is I've been taking him running in the mornings. And it totally screws up my schedule. It completely messes up my own workout schedule. It screws up my priority work time, my focus time. If you guys know, I do a 90-minute focus time for myself every day. It's how I stay on top of everything. I wish I had my papers over here. You would see I have these big index cards that I write just my priority lists on, and then I put them onto my daily agenda on what it is that I'm focusing on. So now that I'm focused on, I'd say the last couple of weeks, on taking my son and doing these running sessions, and I'll tell you why, because I want to make sure that my son can do hard things. As a coach, can you guys relate to this? Like, if you think about, well, first of all, know this. If you can spot a problem in your life right now, then you can create prosperity. I'm going to say that again. If you know the problem that must be solved in your life right now, you have the ability to create prosperity. So why does everybody not create it? Because they spend more time talking about the problem than they do focusing on the thing that they know if they solve that problem, everything would come together. So they put their misplaced energy, frustration, overwhelm, whatever, anger, they put blame, they put like, I don't like my job, I don't like the person that I'm married to. After the live I did the other day, I got message about how I found my husband 90 days. I've gotten all these messages with people saying, what if you're married to someone or you're dating someone that just is constantly in a negative mood? And I was like, that's part of their journey. And so if you want the fruits, if you want the harvest, if you want to have great success, then you got to be willing to walk the journey. And here's a reality moment right now. Have you ever been a challenging person to walk with in your life ever before? Seriously. Have you ever had a moment where like you either can't get out of bed or it doesn't matter what you do, you don't even know why you're unhappy. You're like, why am I unhappy? But you just are, and you can't really pinpoint it to anything. It's kind of everything. Anybody? I've been there. I mean, there was a whole season in my life where I think I complained at least 50 times a day. I mean, it was just like, and nothing could go right. And nobody who was dating me at that time, which was one person, like there was nothing he could do right. And I'd have these reality moments where I'd realize I was the problem, but I still was not humble enough to actually say I'm the problem. And I just kept walking the walk and pointing the fingers of the blame, right? Come on. Can we just like unleash like any sort of shame or guilt around this? But so like people are walking with people like that right now. And somehow they're making it up as if like they've never done that before, right? Like, oh my gosh, this person's been like this for years. I could probably guarantee that there is a spot in your life that you've been like that as well. So I want to be a better mom. And so I've got my son out there and I'm running. And you know, the iPad, my friend Joe DeSena, who owns the company Spartan Races, I love watching Joe's Instagram account because especially right now, because everything he's talking about so much has to do with kids. You know that if he's talking about kids, it's because he's pressing in on being better, right? This can be in your business. This could be finishing a book. This could be like enhancing a relationship. This could be getting responsible to say that you actually want a relationship and getting out there and date, right? Like this is about pressing in. See, if you can spot the problem, then you can create prosperity. Everybody thinks it's a marketing campaign. Everybody thinks it's just sales, and all those are important, but you suck at sales unless you can spot the problem. And you suck at marketing if you can't spot the pattern, which is the problem. And when you see a pattern going by in somebody's life, I'm going to get into today's training in just a second. When you see the pattern, you're going to see problems. And then there's one main problem that if you just took that problem out of that flow, everything would move up. It's kind of like putting a bank against the water, a water flow, the water starts to go up, right? And so you want to be someone who uses that skill to be a blessing on your life and other people's lives. And as long as you keep talking about the problem, you are seriously cutting off your flow of prosperity. So I'm going to leave that thought right there. I'm going to finish the loop with my son for a second. And I want him to be able to do hard things. So I take his iPad, an idea from Joe DeSena from Spartan Races. And I say, this kid, at first I used the iPad as a threat. I mean, I had a human messy moment. I'd say the threat's been there for real for about a year and a half, where every time he hasn't done what I've wanted, I've kind of pulled out the iPad and said, well, you're not going to have that iPad if you don't do fill in the blanks. Now, I'm not saying I'm proud of that. That's like my messy, walky road that not my husband, but my son has had to walk with my parenting evolution. Okay, so there's many things I've done right in parenting. There's many things that I'm sure if you're humble, who's humble out there and you're a parent, put a P in the comment section, put a P, right? Like we do it imperfectly. But yet I'm sure I'm going to get some message in my inboxes on how I could do it better. Listen, stop giving advice and start pressing in on your own life for a second. And so I had this realization that I'm going to stop using the iPad. This was, by the way, only 2 weeks ago, that I'm going to stop using this iPad as a threat to get my kid to do something because I had the vision. See, the Bible says my people will perish without a vision. When you're bored or you can't figure out your messaging or you can't sell or you can't come up with your ideas, it's because you have a problem in vision. And so if you're focused on the problem, you can't get any perspective. Right? But the thing is the problem molds you into this amazing person that's called the hero in your life. So I look at the iPad and I say, you know what? I have this aha moment that the vision is I'm not going to be able to control him with this iPad for very much longer because he's going to not care about the iPad, or he's going to be bigger than me and he's going to say, you know what, Mom? I'm going to disrespect you the same way and pull away my love. So we train people, we train our kids, we train our friends, we train our clients. If you want to have people buy more, send out short emails that say, click here to read it on my blog. You train people to click to buy, click to buy, click to buy, click to buy. See, marketing, business growth, all of that, parenting, dating, marriage, it's all a relationship game. And I'm really clear that we don't spend enough time learning how to style flex. And we spend a lot of time talking about why I can't work for this company anymore, or why I can't be in this relationship anymore. We spend a lot of time like literally taking no responsibility. Or let's even take it deeper, not knowing our identity, that we can do something different with this and we can lead it differently. And so we have to have enough grace to walk through the grit of the stuff we do wrong, to be able to catch a vision and look at where's this going. And if I keep showing up like this, and here's a reality moment for many of you guys right now. If you keep running, if you're an entrepreneur right now, if you keep running your business the way you're running it right now, or you keep running your finances, your money, the way you're running it right now, will you be okay in 2 years from now? Are you going to be where you want to be? Because money touches everything. It touches your health care. It touches whether or not during COVID you still flew, right? Did you fly private? Could you not afford to fly private? You know, when the hurricane hit in Florida, my girlfriend was taking her family on a private jet out. And you might say, oh, Shanda, that's so, no. She worked her ass off. She almost closed her company, by the way. She's going to be at our mastermind in Tampa for Mentor Me Live 1%. And she's going to be teaching how she got out of the moment that she was going to quit because it wasn't coming together and it wasn't worth it, right? They look at the area in your life where you're like, it's not worth the effort. It's not coming together. It's not worth not being with my kids. It's not worth not being with my husband. It's not worth getting fat. It's not worth this stress. It's not worth. So whenever you hear those words, think of like an invisible force in the atmosphere called spiritual warfare, just ministering to you and saying, quit. It's not worth it. Quit. It's not worth it. And then think of a moment like this where I'm saying you could lead it differently. So money touches everything that you love. It's not about loving money, but I definitely appreciate it. And I will work hard to keep multiplying it and learning about it so I can be in relationship with it. And I advise you to do the same thing. So that iPad that my son has, I'm in follow-up mode. And this is where people break down. They don't realize that a marketing campaign or parenting your kids or whatever it is that you're doing, it's all a follow-up game. It's not the initial pitch. Everybody thinks if you just say something, you've got the courage to say something, right? I hear this in my leadership program all the time. People come, Shanda, I have the courage to use my voice. Great. Now use it effectively. Because when you go to speak and it doesn't create the relationship you want or the response from someone you want or somebody running to the back of the room and buying your products or services, then instead of saying that didn't work or that person isn't receptive or you know what, that person's always negative in my life or I tried that webinar and nobody showed up, instead of standing there, I want you to shift and realize it's all in the follow-up. And so I'm following up with my son and I'm getting better. I'm following up as an entrepreneur and really stepping into a more traditional CEO role versus an operator inside my company. It doesn't matter if you don't understand that. You just need to know that I'm evolving with you, right? And I'm sure people are judging me like they're judging you. And you just got to learn how to wipe that slut off you. Those ideas, those thoughts, those labels, those words people put on you, and you're in the follow-up, my friend. And the follow-up is where the game gets won. The follow-up is literally where the game gets won. If you make an offer, you got to remake that offer 17 times in 2 to 3 days. Right? What? Why don't you just grab a piece of paper, and after you make an offer, write down 1 to 17 and just track yourself that you remake the offer 17 times in 3 days. Like just do it messy, right? Like just, because you'll learn a lot from that. At least if you get in the habit of just doing it when you don't know how to do it, just the act of keeping yourself in a schedule, a template to do it, you'll succeed. So I'm going to succeed as a mom. You parents out there, I know you're doing a great job and you're in the game, you're in the follow-up. Right? And so now I say to Zach, that's my son's name, if you can run the hill twice, which is maybe just under a mile, but it's hill repeats. If you can run the hill twice and run back to the house and you finish stronger than you started, in other words, Zach, when you're on the home stretch to our house, I want you, and I'm into God, so if you're not, it's okay, but I say to my son, when the Holy Spirit comes in your mind and says, push it, I want you to practice listening. And even if you're tired or your breathing is labored, I want you to push it and trust. And I want you to run up to the front door of our house and touch our front door stronger than the way you left. See, usually when you leave for the run, most of the time, or at least in our world, I'll speak for, we leave a little bit dragging our feet, a little bit like, I'm not really sure if I want to do this. And Zach was saying, my legs are tired, Mom, my legs are tired. And I know some of you guys say, oh, poor little Zachy. I was like, dude, just do your best. But we have a commitment, just do your best. Because I don't want him to stop too short, because all the win is in the follow-up. So Zach went and ran the hill with me today, and I said, you're earning your iPad. I actually don't use the word earn because I don't want him to think in that way. I say, you get to have that iPad if you don't stop. So he negotiated with me to stop at the top of the hill and take in the view, he said. Smart kid, taking the view, right? And I said, okay, great, I spot an opportunity. If you can spot the problem, you got prosperity. And I said, let's get to the top of the hill and let's set our intentions for the day. And my son and I did that. We prayed for his friends, we prayed for his father, we set intentions for our day. And it was a really beautiful moment that I would not have been able to have if I would have judged my son or I would have been too intense. See, there's a difference between committing in the follow-up and being so intense that everything is exhausting. I hope, is anybody getting anything from this? Say yes if you are. Okay, because there's a huge difference. I used to run my business with such frustration and such angst that I quit a lot because things didn't work out for me a lot because I didn't have the ability to keep following up. I was so hurt when things didn't work out, when I made my initial offer, when I put myself out there to title or name or brand a webinar and nobody showed up, or only like the disappointing 20 showed up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you know what I'm saying. So it's like, so when I would get the first blow, I wouldn't have what it took to keep going in the follow-up because I just didn't get it. I didn't know. Nobody really told me. All I knew is push, 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 which is important, right? I told my son, push it, finish stronger than you started. But listen to that voice that says, go for it, and then go for it, right? I left it to him to work out with God. So anyway, long story short, Zach ran the hills twice. We stopped once at the top to take in the view. And it was a beautiful moment because he was motivated without me lifting him on my back. So I want to encourage you today as you're looking at your business, as you're looking at the relationships in your life, look at what would it look like. And you're going to have to do some work here. You're going to have to journal this out, because if you just watch this Shanda on demand, this would be one you wouldn't want to just watch and leave here. In fact, it'd be awesome if you shared this right now so people who can come back and watch the rest of this. Go share it. It really helps. It encourages me to keep showing up for you when I see you sharing these. It really does. You know, it encourages me to keep going. It doesn't make me feel like I've got this show all on my own back and I'm the only one like promoting it or showing up. It's like, it makes me feel like we're in it together, and it keeps me motivated to keep showing up. So please take a moment and share this live. And realize that you don't have to carry everything on your back. You need to look at the people in your life. You need to look at your customers and your clients, and you need to ask yourself, you know, what would it look like? What is going to motivate them to buy? What is going to, instead of like, how do you get the right offer? Or how do you, you know, get your husband or your wife to lose weight? Or how do you, you know, get somebody to be kinder or more positive? If you just stop looking at you and doing things for you, I mean this in a nice way. If you stop, if the complaints are not so much about how you feel in the atmosphere of your business or your life, and you start to look at what would motivate this person, I promise you, you will spot the problem that leads to prosperity or purpose. And I know every single one of us have it in us, because I can hear the levels of complaint that people have on a daily basis, but it's just misplaced energy, because you've got what it takes to do this. And mentors and coaches are there to coach the breakdowns. But if you don't break away and go after it, then they're coaching your purpose. I hope you heard that. If you didn't, re-listen to this. Because too often in life, we are asking other people to make our decisions. Where should I go for dinner tonight? What should my message be? And the thing is, y'all, success is in the follow-up, which means you have to You have to make decisions faster. You have to move it forward faster, because when you do, there's a wake of messiness and a wake of success. And that is what needs to be mentored or coached to go to the next level if you want more speed. So I hope this live was powerful for you today. I hope that you understand that there's 17 follow-ups after every pitch, that you understand that you don't have to play the punishment game to encourage other people. You don't have to say, I'm going to be frustrated at you, spouse or boyfriend, girlfriend. If you don't do this, then I'm out, right? Or son, if you don't get ready quicker, you're not going to get your iPad. Like, if you can get out of the punishment game, I promise you, you will be such an inspiration to the people around you that they will flourish around you and become everything that you know that they can be, and so will your customers and your clients. So tomorrow on Shanda on Demand, I'm going to talk about a very touchy subject. I'm going to talk about transgender. I'm going to talk about puberty blockers for kids. I'm going to talk about where's our voice in this. I'm going to talk about that. And there's a reason why I'm going to talk about it tomorrow. So I'm going to encourage you to come tomorrow on Shanda on Demand at 10 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to encourage you to come on it because, first of all, I want you to see the power of being bold. And I also want you to see the power in being able to have open and honest conversations about things that people shy away from. The worst advice you were ever given is to not talk about politics, not talk about sex, about who people love, and about money. Those are the worst advice you were ever given. You know why? You were silenced in that moment. And the question is where did that coaching ever come from? We all know it. We've all been told not to talk about politics, sex, money, religion. We've all been told not to talk about it, and it silences us. And the opposite of silence is connection. And so I'm going to encourage you to come tomorrow. I'm going to encourage you to share this live. I'm going to encourage you to share it tomorrow. I'm going to encourage you to come live and for us to have a conversation that's a heated conversation in the world right now, and to not be afraid to have these conversations on your platforms. So much love to you guys. Go out and be bold. Remember, success is 100% in the follow-up. It's never in the initial pitch. All right, you guys. Talk to you soon. Bye.